Scrooge and the Infinity Dime reminded me of my favorite Uncle Scrooge adventures. It captured the essence of the characters, and it reminded me of the great work done by Don Rosa and, of course, Carl Barks. After finishing the book, though, I was left a little depressed. It seemed almost like a love letter to Carl Barks' work. Perhaps I got that impression from the literal love letter left by the writer Jason Aaron on page 1. Jason really does love Uncle Scrooge, as previously mentioned. He managed to capture the essence of the series. He also managed to put a modern spin on it by infusing the plot from the MCU, as a means to bring these characters to a new generation. As I said earlier, it did leave me a little depressed, as it's been years since we've seen a new Uncle Scrooge story. And this is a one-shot, so it's likely we may not see one again for many years to come. Also, Uncle Scrooge has been extremely censored recently. A lot of the old books and the reprints have been redrawing over guns, and they've been making them look like toys, and then also Disney has even refused to print a lot of the collections that they've had with Don Rosa, and that's really disheartening to me. I was also a little disappointed because I thought that the story would be a little longer than it was, because they actually reprinted the first appearance of Uncle Scrooge in this, and so you have all these extra pages, and so when I got to the end I was a little confused. It was good to reread that, and it did add some extra context, but I also feel like they put it in sort of as a means to, charge more for the book. Regardless, it was still a good read. Now let's get into the plot, and yes, spoilers are incoming. Basically, it takes place with an alternate Scrooge who never met his nephews, and instead he became this tyrannical tycoon who's, using all of his wealth for doing bad things. It's a little bit like the Christmas Story in a sense, as you're going to see what Scrooge is like, could have been, had he not made good decisions. After bringing his first dime to magic to Spell's mirror, it's called the Mirror of Worlds, it allows him to see an alternate version of himself, and he basically realizes that's like an alternate world. So, him being a more greedy version of Scrooge, he decided to go and plunder and steal that Scrooge's treasure. And he basically goes around the universe stealing every single Scrooge's treasure. He wants to be the only Scrooge with wealth in the universe. Scrooges from across the multiverse have to join together to defeat him, and in the end, it ties in really well, and they all manage to get their treasure back, each Scrooge not losing a single penny. That may sound like a little, convoluted, but that's actually how Scrooge stories are supposed to end. If you go back to the Woodchuck manual, it always had, the perfect answer for everything, so I really thought that was nice, and again, it just felt and read like it was an Uncle Scrooge story, so if you're a fan of that, make sure to give it a read. And of course, also, seeing this evil Uncle Scrooge really reminded us of how great our favorite avian uncle is, and so it made us appreciate him and understand, how good of a person he is. Also, it's really interesting to see these multiverse Scrooges coming together, as it reminded us of all the adventures he's had, in so many different settings. So if you're an Uncle Scrooge fan, I highly recommend it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and also don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you around next time.